Radio Namaste is brought to you by your host, the blue-collar goddess, Sarah Nash, and a small crew of guest personalities determined to amuse, entertain, and occasionally astonish you. And now, Radio Namaste, a different brand of enlightenment streaming live across this galaxy and probably a few more.
Collar goddess Sarah Nash as your host, and you're listening to Radio Namaste on the OMTimes radio network. Welcome to a very different brand of enlightenment. If you're listening in live on the most advanced mobile player on the planet, you already know that we've got the advantage over other internet radio platforms because OMTimes Radio does not require you to download any apps. And if you've connected with us from an archived broadcast, well, you're very wise and you're using your time extraordinarily well. Congratulations. And congratulations on gaining access to this conscious community of lightworking musicians, artists, authors, healers, and psychic rock stars. We're the new age kids on the block, and we have more fun. And we give out more light and love, not to mention rainbow sparkles and freaking glitter. More than anybody else out there, and we're the A-team, and we're not stuck up either. So my guest today is part of that A-team, Dena Anderson. She's my co-facilitator on the White Light Express. That's www.whitelightexpress.org.com and .net. So you can choose either one of those, all three of them if you like. Pull them up on different browsers. Anyways, Dena is also the very patient power source behind my attunement as a Reiki master teacher nearly 5 years ago, and that's a heck of a story. And her story is really remarkable and inspirational. Thank you for sending me your stories. We had a few stories come into the Father Mulcahy Award part of our show and the Namaste Award too. This week's Ask the Blue Collar Goddess question of really noteworthiness was a bit more serious. And I know that Motorized Millie is going to appreciate this one because it's not only is it a serious question, but it also involves another very beautiful handicapped woman. And I haven't had the chance to connect with Millie this week yet, so I'm probably going to answer that one on the Facebook page like I did last week. That's www.facebook.com/Radio Namaste. I had really two excellent questions last week. They inspired me to make a very informal video. It's posted on the Facebook page and on YouTube about my soul retrieval process. I call the crystal blue sapphire meditation this soul retrieval process. There are quite a few broken hearts out there, and this meditation allows you to retrieve that piece of yourself that someone else might be holding on to through energetic visualization. Zen Master Ted, I'm having really huge problems with my words today. So if you need to, you can throw a cactus across the room. Your thoughts are quite powerful, people. And after sharing this process, the crystal blue sapphire meditation process, with really great success for over 10 years, I know that it works. It's simple, it's effective, and beneficial in the healing that's really necessary when you're on the path to making yourself whole. The Namaste Award is for you to highlight the people in your life who've exhibited the qualities that we respect and admire, especially when no one is looking, and just because it's the right thing to do. And it's not about, accolades or attaboys. It's about keeping the world a really decent place in spite of all the greed, the lack of consciousness, the gossip, and the other nonsense wrapped up in the ego games that people play. So send me your nomination stories. The contact form is on namaste.com. That's Namaste with an H, people, NAHMASTE.com. And we're going to send the Story of the Week winner an alchemy stone provided by one of our noble sponsors, Alchemy Stones, from alchemystone.com. As for the Father Mulcahy Award, it's really quite the opposite of the Namaste Award. It's the Karma Police from thegoodkarmafactory.com have given us citations, provided us citations for us to deliver to someone who has displayed disgusting thoughtlessness, is hopelessly spaced out, or is dangerously unaware. Of course, there's just the plain rude and obnoxious, but it's always funnier when it's somebody who ought to know better. My father, Mulcahy, is not an actual person, and you can read about that on our website too. My public service announcement this week is all about the heart. Last weekend was Valentine's Day, and the day after that was my soul sister. It was her birthday, but I landed myself in the hospital on Monday night. I thought I was having a heart attack. And, I'd been having some of these symptoms for over a week, and they were steadily getting worse. And finally, I had the kicker, and I'd promised my friend that I would, if I started getting nauseated, or if the pain moved to the center of my chest, or if I, had all of these, conditions, that I would go to the hospital. It turns out that I'm actually really, really healthy, and it was stress, and I think it was really metaphysical. Anyways, it's sort of why I'm behind a bit on my work, especially as the spirituality editor for OMTimes magazine, which I love too, by the way. I love reading the articles that are submitted, and I love OMTimes magazine. If you haven't had the chance to read it yet, you need to. Anyways, I don't want to get behind on this interview. So without any muss or fuss, we do have our goddess on the East Coast. So we're going to hope that we don't have any cutouts on the feed. If we do, we have Zen Master Ted, our moderator. He'll grab her back. But Dena Anderson, my A-team woman, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm actually really good. Still piled with snow, but...
Snowpocalypse.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think I saw a polar bear out my window.
That's going to confuse some of our listeners out there. They're going to go, wait a minute. I thought you said she was on the East Coast. Where are you on the East Coast?
I'm in the lovely state of Maine.
Oh, good Lord. So actually, with the White Light Express, we've got it covered coast to coast. I'm over here on the West Coast, and you're over there on the East Coast. So, we're White Light Express goalies.
Yes.
Goal.
Yeah, we're the goalies.
Yeah, thank you so much for being my co-facilitator and for stepping in, and for helping with the White Light Express healing grid. A lot of people don't know what the White Light Express is. It's a worldwide healing organization that we have a lot of goals for the future, but basically it's about the power of positive focused intention. It's about people getting together and praying and meditating and really sending golden white light thoughts to the people who send in their prayer requests. And Dena and I have decided that we did open the grid. We open the grid every new moon to every full moon, and it's not an occult thing. You can read about why we do that on the website. But Dena, when did you know that you had psychic abilities? And I think we've got a few minutes before we have to go into the first break. So I know people want to know about you. So let's talk about you.
I was about 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw my first spirit, it was my grandmother who passed away in 1968 of cancer. We lived in the house where she died, and I used to see her stand by my bed at night, and I used to talk to her. And my mom asked me, well, who are you talking to? And my mom had a picture of her, and I pointed to my grandmother's picture, and I said, I'm talking to her. My mom really didn't question it, and between the ages of 5 and 7 is when most children start to shut down their psychic abilities.
Mm-hmm. I
never had to do that. My abilities just grew stronger over the years.
And when you say stronger, what does that mean? So we know that you're clairvoyant. We know that you can see spirits, but tell us a little bit more about your other psychic abilities.
Sometimes I'll pick up on premonitions. I had a dream 2 weeks before my dad passed away. I saw him laid out in his casket, right down to the white shirt and a little gold angel pin that was on the collar of the shirt. So I knew that my father was going to pass away.
How old were you?
I was 27 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what kind of relationship did you have with him? I mean, was he ill? What was going on?
He had a heart attack. He was a commercial fisherman out of Massachusetts, and he had a heart attack while they were out fishing.
Oh my.
He drove home and then drove himself to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I get my stubbornness from as far as medical issues go. You
Mm.
know, he had quadruple bypass surgery in May, and then November 1st, he had passed away.
Wow. And so what kind of relationship did you have with him? I mean, were you able to tell him these things? Did he support you or
Oh yeah,
because
oh yeah. He was, you know, he was very supportive, and he we lived with him I was living with my parents at that time because my ex-husband was in the Navy, so my oldest daughter and I were living with my parents at the time that he got sick. So I was at least able to spend that time with him before he passed away.
and did you, I mean, I know how it is for me when I get my premonitions and the things that I have. Did you tell anyone what you'd seen?
No.
Yeah, isn't that tough when you see things and you just kind of especially when I do layouts on my oracles and the end result is looking a little bit badly or a bit negative. We want to translate that energy.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work for you?
I look for guidance. Depending on what it is, if I get that feeling in the pit of my stomach and I know it's not good, I'll say something.
Okay. Well, listen, speaking of things that happen with the pit of our stomach, I think we're going to be getting our music break here really quickly. We'll talk some more about this when we get back.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Join Elliot Jollish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jollish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jollish Hour. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram @JoyOfBusiness or Twitter @JoyOfBusiness. And share your pictures with hashtags BusinessDoneWhere and Joy of Business. Let's change the world with business.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hey, Dena, are you still there? You didn't get buried
I am.
under any snow, did you?
No, I'm still here.
Awesome. I want to tell people yesterday when we were opening up the grid, we do this via my iPad so that I can bring it into my little sanctuary area where we have our White Light Express healing altar. And I had started saying the opening prayers. and I got really into it. I got really into it. And then when I turned around a few minutes later to ask Dena to, start with her prayers, the screen was dark. I was like, oh my goodness. Well, it was really funny. So, because I hit the dial up again on the Skype platform, and she was still sitting there meditating. It was a really great image. She was just like literally just sitting there, and I was like, hi, and she's like, hi, I was just holding the vibration. It was so perfect. Like, she didn't even miss a beat. I just love you so much. This is perfect. But speaking about holding a vibration, and we were talking about your psychic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
You and I met each other. Again, this is sort of like how I met Millie, but you were on the same blogging platform way back when blogging wasn't cool, and we did it because it was about community and sharing and supporting each other. But you and I met, God, over 10, 12 years ago on the same blogging community.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good old,
and
good old Zanga.
yeah, good old Zanga. It was just like there's some people that, and this is about energy, frequency, and vibration, because the beauty of that is that it does. People who say that these internet relationships are not real are wrong. They're very, very wrong. I have to tell you, there are people that I'm still very, very close to that I've never met. I've talked to them on the telephone, but you and I met when it was funny because I'd been studying Reiki since 1995, and I had all kinds of opportunities to become become attuned in Reiki, and I had my first attunement, but in all the time that you and I knew each other, I did not know that you were a Reiki master teacher. And then you told me several, I was just like, get out. You were like the only one I knew. So when did you realize that you wanted to become a Reiki master? Let's talk about you and that.
I started my journey into Reiki in 2005 after my divorce. I needed some serious healing, and I had started thinking, well, Reiki doesn't just heal the body, it heals the mind, it heals the spirit, it heals the heart, the chakras, it heals everything. So I went for my first attunement back in 2005. A lovely woman in New Bedford attuned me. And then it just slowly progressed from there. The more I started working with it, the more the healing began from the divorce and for my girls, and it just blossomed over the next few years. I've also been attuned as a Tibetan Reiki master, and I attuned you.
So brave, so brave.
One of the greatest moments of my life was attuning you. I will say that. And Reiki has just brought it's heightened my awareness of other beings, and it's heightened my compassion, and that, and it's really helped me heal from illnesses, physical illnesses, and it's made me more aware of my body and how to better take care of it. So, it's not just an energy healing. It really, it heals all parts of you. And to be given the gift to be able to do that is a very humbling experience.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. When I realized that you were a Reiki master teacher, people and their attunements, and I've read about them. But as 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 you were placing the symbols into my hands, I'm just I'm. Do you mind if I tell the story a little bit?
No, go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. I looked up and I noticed that my eyes were closed, right? And so I looked up and I saw that Dena I saw that you were sweating. I saw that there was like beads of sweat on your upper lip, and I just kind of went, huh? And so I kind of like peeked and I looked around us and there was this like smoke. And I sincerely thought that the hotel room was on fire. I kid you not, people. I thought perhaps one of the candles that we'd lit had inadvertently started a fire, and I'm like, Dena, fire. And she doesn't miss a beat. Again, this woman is incredible. She nods gently and she's like, I know. I'm like, no, Dena, fire. She's like, uh-huh, I know. Because she'd been seeing the same thing, and I looked down and I saw these symbols on the tops of my bare feet. And then as I looked up, I see this symbol and this eye of Horus, the eye of Ra, not the eye of Horus, the eye of Ra with this like violet flame behind it. And I'm like, okay, fire. But now the smoke is getting like larger and it's like circling us. And I'm like, Dena, I think the room's on fire. Her eyes like flew open. And we look around and we see that it's like people, I don't know if anybody watched Lost or what have you, but it was like the smoke monster, right? But it was like doing the serpentine circular thing around us. And Dena's like, okay, just one more minute. We'll put this fire. That I'm gonna call you. Fooey says it's busy. Oh, goodness. It's live radio. It is live radio. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, so what happened then, I'm just going to finish telling the story. I don't know if she can still hear what's happening. But her eyes shot open. We literally had to like grab this smoke and like we flung it out the window. It's like together we did this. So are we getting Dena back? Because I'm gonna try and add her to this call. Okay, we need to have like music. Are you there? Okay. Are you getting her?
Yes.
Good. All right. Because I want to make sure that I didn't actually get us out of the entire radio show. I can't wait to talk about the Father Mulcahy Award because it's going to get some people. It's going to get some people. It's going to get them a little bit angry, I think. I can't get Dena back. What the heck's happening? I don't know what's happening.
I'm here.
Oh, are you still there?
Yep.
Did you hear anything? Did you have me on mute? Was your
No, the call dropped.
Okay. The East Coast people. East Coast.
Yes.
Well, I was just getting through telling the people about how we had to like grab that smoke and like fling it out the window.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, enough about me. I'm going to keep you talking because, maybe when I'm talking and you're not, then the call drops. And I know that's not what's happening over here at my end. So enough about me. So you attuned me as a Reiki master teacher. We had this incredible experience. But did you always want to be a healer?
No. No, I never in my life thought that that was my path, ever. I just never gravitated towards it, and I never saw myself as a healer.
Mm-hmm.
I thought when you become a healer, you really have to let go of a lot of ego trips and a lot of expectations, because you're the vessel. You're just, the vessel for which the vibration goes into, and you cannot be connected to the outcome of the healing. So I never ever saw myself as a healer, ever. At the time, I was just too full of ego and too selfish.
Well, when you decided to become a Reiki master teacher, it was because you had some thyroid issues and some issues with regard to your own physical health. But
Yeah.
when we come back from the break, because we're getting ready to have another break, and God, I hope we don't lose you again, darling. I want you to tell us about your healing endeavors, because you have recovered from brain cancer.
Yes.
Yeah, that has to be. I remember when you got your diagnosis and how I just sort of thought to myself, why is this happening? Why is the person who, and you're healthy. You're an incredibly healthy individual. You don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't do any of the horrible things that I do. All right. We'll be right back.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Know what to do, just can't figure out how to fit it all into your busy life? It doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Alan Baisberg from Seamless Life. Join me every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio and learn the how of conscious living. Let me and my guests help make your life seamless.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Elia, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
I'm still trying to figure out what the heck happened with that dropped call. But again, live radio, that makes me think I need to have like little poetry bits here. I'm gonna have to, roses are red, violets are blue. I wish I could get you back on this call. What? Tell us about your healing journey with regard to the brain cancer. Let's start from the beginning, how this happened, and then, how you managed to muddle through and survive something that is just so devastating.
Well, it started, I want to say, back in 2013. I finally found a full-time job. I was working 40 hours a week. I was doing Taekwondo with my youngest. I lost a ton of weight. And as you pointed out, I don't, and I was on track. I cut out gluten because I found I had a gluten insensitivity. So I was healthy. I had a clean bill of health. And then around these excruciating headaches, and I had no idea what they were from. At first I thought maybe they were migraines, so I started going back and forth to my doctor. And the first doctor I saw told me, "Oh, you have a sinus infection." She put me on an antibiotic. Now, anyone who's taken an antibiotic knows within 48 hours of taking it, you should start to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. When I knew that something wasn't right, went back to the doctor. They took x-ray of my sinuses. They saw nothing. So I was like, okay, well, I've pretty much exhausted all other areas here. So finally, my primary care physician told me, maybe we should send you for an MRI. So I said, yeah, I think it's time. And all the while I had this pain and this pressure, I was still working 40 hours a week. And finally, I'll never forget it. I lived near the hospital where I had my first MRI, and I walked over. I figured, walk over. It's only around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked around the corner to the hospital. They started my MRI, and then the next thing I know, they stopped it. That's when I knew there was something more. And they came out, and the technician said, "Oh, the doctor wants to see you." So I was like, okay. So I'm sitting in the waiting room, and the doctor comes in, and he looks at me. He says, "We found something on your MRI. We're admitting you to the ER."
Like right away, right that moment?
Right that moment.
Wow.
So there I am, and I'm like, no. I have 2 kids I have to pick up. And sure enough, they admitted me to the ER. I was admitted, and they tried to shove me in a wheelchair, and I said, no, I can walk. Well, do you have a car here? And I looked at them, and I said, no, I walked here. And I couldn't figure out why they were all looking at me like, you physically walked here?
Mm-hmm.
And I found out I had a brain tumor, and I had such swelling on my brain that was pushing my brain over to one side. I had no idea. No idea. All I knew was that I had a headache, and I just wanted it to go away. So they admitted me that day to the emergency room. I called my mom, and I told her, I said, they're admitting me. They're sending me to Boston. I was at Brigham and Women's Hospital that night. And they had already aligned me with a surgeon, a neurosurgeon there, who was on his way to California for a family funeral.
Mm-hmm.
So there I am at Brigham and Women's, and I'm having MRI after MRI done. And finally, I got to meet my surgeon, and he told me, you have a brain tumor, and we have to perform surgery to have it out. So in January, on the 29th, I went in to Brigham and Women's, and they completely removed the tumor, and they call it a resectioning.
Mm-hmm.
And I came through with flying colors.
Yes, you did.
In fact, normally that is a 5-day stay in the hospital for most people.
Mm-hmm.
I was out 3.
I remember that. I also remember, though, when did they give you your diagnosis and they said that it was cancer?
Well, here's the thing about the brain tumor that I have. They consider it benign for cancer,
mm-hmm.
but it's considered malignant because it can come back.
Okay.
yeah, it's one of those tumors that, you know, it's not cancerous, but it can come back. So they're keeping a very close eye on me. Anybody who knows anything about the medical field will know that Brigham and Women's and Dana-Farber are two of the top places in the country to go for medical care. And I did 6 weeks of radiation at Brigham and Women's. My radiation oncologist is actually head of the department at radiation at Harvard Medical School. And I did a year of chemo. I was on the chemo treatment that they give all patients like me that have this form of tumor.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, see, what I think what's really interesting, and I don't mean to cut you off, is for a lot of the people listening to this, they're going to go, okay, yeah, you know, medical. But Dena, the bottom line is that it was phenomenal, because the diagnosis that they gave you, and I know that you've stepped away from that, and you know you've moved ahead, but it wasn't good news, darling.
No.
You know, there was a moment there where it was looking pretty dark and dismal, and you muddled through, and there's a couple of reasons that you muddled through. Your children, for one thing, I know this for a fact. But one of the conversations that you and I had after the fact was, you said, I know that I have a greater purpose. I know that this can't end at this point yet. So, tell us about, okay, so you got your diagnosis, and you just, man, was it a struggle? I got to tell you, for me, I had to really step aside, because there was a lot of stuff going on with me physically too, oddly enough. You know, after the attunement, you and I both got really, really very, very ill. And, you know, I stopped eating red meat, and I love my steak and broccoli, man. Don't take my steak away from me. But it was really funny, for an entire year, I just could not eat red meat after I became a Reiki master teacher. So tell us about when you decided to become a Tibetan Buddhist.
It was at that point that I started becoming a Tibetan Buddhist. You've known me for over 20 years. I was a practicing witch. And at that point in my life, I needed calm. I needed, you know, to be able to go into myself and work on nurturing myself and my own spirit. And Tibetan Buddhism has given me that. You know, it's that space that I can go into and just hear the quiet, be the quiet, and feel it, and not feel guilty about it. So, you know, the illness really impacted my life in many, many different ways, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Now, people are going to say, okay, that right now I can tell you that there's about, you know, the vast majority of our listening audience has just kind of stopped at, I used to be a witch. You know, they're not hearing Tibetan Buddhism. They're not hearing calm, peace, healing. They're going witch. Burn the witch, you know, and this is one of the reasons why we went to Salem for my my attunement, because it was just sort of you'd stepped away from some of that.
Yes. I'm not going to say anything bad about witchcraft.
No.
It's an earth religion. It's a beautiful religion. It honors both the man and the woman. You know, it's not one-sided. But it's also got some ego issues.
Well, Wicca definitely does. And there's a lot of solitary practitioners out there who I know who, you know, are continuing with their solitary practitioning. Is that a word? Zen Master Ted? Yeah, okay, sort of. Words today, words. And Mercury's not even retrograde. But you were a solitary practitioner, so to speak, with Wicca, and about the time that I think you got to Zenga, and you were blogging, you were sort of blogging your end of being a witch, your end of Wicca, and you're searching for something else. And I think at that point we were all searching for something else, which is why you were one of the original people who was with Avis Latone and I when we began the White Light Express.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a couple of minutes here before the break, and I want to make sure that people know what our plans are for the future and what you've decided to do with that. But you became a crystal therapist, or crystal, what is it that you are?
Certified crystal healer.
A certified crystal healer. What does that mean?
Basically, crystal healing, it's a relatively, I won't say new type of healing, because we've had crystals all around us for millions and millions of years. I mean, the Egyptians loved their lapis, and the Greeks used amethyst and carnelian. It's a form of healing where we use crystals. It's like hands-on therapy. It's like Reiki, but we use the crystals and place it on the points of the body that need healing.
So the crystals magnify healing energy then?
Yes.
And so what sort of crystals do you use for yourself?
I tend to use a lot of carnelian. I use a lot of quartz, Tibetan quartz. I use a lot of jasper, a lot of the grounding stones, but I have to be very careful because of my thyroid.
And have you noticed a difference with regard to the certain types of crystals that you use? What has been your experience with that?
Tremendous.
We're going to talk a little bit more about that when we get back from this break. I can't believe it's 12:45. Jeez Louise. All right, Dena, hang tight. We'll be right back.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
The Laying On of Hands Healing Radio Show is about treating the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. Join me, Charles Smith, as I share life-balancing measures such as nutrition and spiritual practices to help you take charge of your own health and wellness every Thursday at 7 p.m. on OMTimes Radio.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Simone Milasas would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com.
Radio Namaste leads you down the yellow brick road into portals of consciousness with the blue collar goddess as your host. Interviews with humans who could be famous or just popular, and answers to everything are on the agenda. Tune into OMTimes Radio and drop in on Thursdays at 3 Eastern. It's a different brand of enlightenment.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
I like how they talk about their conscious lifestyle on steroids. That's what happens when you use crystals. I think it's like putting energy, frequency, and vibration on steroids.
Yes, they're wonderful amplifiers of energy. My favorite thing with crystals is doing crystal layouts on my patient. You put several crystals together and they amplify each other's energy, which brings in deeper healing.
Well, a lot of people are just going to say that's woo-woo and it's not real. But the bottom line is that crystals are used in radios, they're used in computers, because they hold their, frequencies and vibrations. Now, with regard to crystals, on the White Light Express, you and I both have blue lace agate spheres.
Yes.
The alpha and the omega, we call them, and they're connected. So I'm gonna, we only have a few minutes left here. So what do you want to accomplish with regard to your healing endeavors over the next few years, and then in the future? Because you're going to stick around for a long time, because you can't go anywhere on my watch, darling.
I'm not planning on it. Well, what I'd like to do is our new Reiki, quantum light Reiki, take off. I'd like to have a few more people certified in crystal healing. I think there's some really wonderful opportunities out there for alternative healers like you and me. And I think people are going to start turning more towards us than traditional doctors. Not to say that traditional doctors aren't good, because obviously I still have to go to a traditional doctor, but alternative methods of healing can go hand in hand with traditional medicine.
Well, that's like the hospital, Hudson Hospital in Wisconsin. They use labyrinths, and they have holistic healing methods. In fact, here in Port Townsend, Washington, the last time I went into the clinic with, I had this weird ear infection thing going on. Literally, the woman turned to me, and we were talking about, she was a physician's assistant. She turned to me and she said, "Well, have you seen a shaman?" And I thought that was amazing, because she was serious. I mean, She was 100% serious. She was like, "Have you seen a shaman?" And the interesting thing about that, there's another talk show host here, Grandmother Alaya. She has, I hope I'm saying her name right, Alaya. She has the Circle of Hearts radio. And when she'd found out that I was in hospital and I had my heart condition, she was like, and really, literally, I got a clean bill of health, Dena. It was fun, as you know, like, this is the first time my CBC came back without any dilemmas or issues or hassles. But, people can connect with you online where?
I have a blog over at Blogspot called The Crystal Catalyst, and they can connect with me there. I also have a Facebook page called The Crystal Catalyst. They can connect with me there. I'm also hanging around for the White Light Express page and our Grid Guardian page. I check in there. I have all these little outlets that I like to be around in, and people can contact me in any of those places, to find out more information. I think the White Light Express is going to present a great, great opportunity in the future. It doesn't matter what faith you are, what you believe. If your healing and your vibration are pure and your intent is pure.
Or even if it's not so pure, because we're humans,
Exactly.
Humans suck. Dena is my sister light to my sister dark. Okay, I mean, there was a couple out there a while back that had the sister light, sister dark thing. But hey, Dena, listen, we have to have you back. We need to chit chat some more. Dena's like really calm, cool, and collected, y'all. I'm like blah 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 blah, and Dena's like, yeah, we're good. It's all
I'm yin to your yang.
Amen, sister. Amen. So you can sit around if you want to be quiet, or you can head out into the wild blue yonder and talk to people out on the White Light Express. But Dena Anderson is she's my co-facilitator with this new form, a healing modality that we're doing called Quantum Light Reiki. And Dena's actually channeling some of the symbols and getting some of the stuff down with there. So people should stay tuned in for that. But hey, Dena, thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, no problem, honey.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate your healing journey. And I don't think we even touched all of the things that we wanted to discuss, because time flies when you're having fun. So I'm going to give out the Father Mulcahy Award here in just a minute. But thanks, Dena.
You're welcome.
I love you, sister. We'll talk soon.
You. Yes.
So with the Father Mulcahy Award, I'm really excited about this one because I think a lot of people are really going to, they're gonna. This comes from Brandon, and he didn't tell me where he was from, but he had sent his girlfriend. He'd sent his girlfriend a bouquet of flowers over the Valentine weekend, Zen Master Ted, and it was very sweet. And so his girlfriend was really happy and really excited. And he said Brandon did not tell me what sort of major chain restaurant that his girlfriend worked for, but he had the flowers delivered. So Brandon, I hope you're listening in, brother, because, actually Zen Master Ted and I talked about this because we'd like to send you actually an alchemy stone to give to your girlfriend. Brandon's girlfriend's boss threw the flowers away. Yeah. I can see Zen Master Ted. He's still rolling his eyes over that one. Can you believe that, people? This beautiful young man sends his girlfriend these flowers and I wish he had told me the name of the major restaurant chain, but he didn't. So, obviously this guy's got a little bit of class because I would have smeared him all over the place. Boycott this place. But the beautiful bouquet of roses or whatever it was, he just said it was a beautiful bouquet of flowers. She never got them. The boss had thrown them away, and because it was considered to be out of step, out of line for the workplace, and I could not believe it. When I got this letter, I just wanted to sit back and cry. So hey, Brandon, you're right. This I wish you would have given us this guy's name too. But the letter that you wrote was very heartfelt and very sincere. And you're right, dude. Your girlfriend's boss deserves the Father Mulcahy Award, and if you are listening, go ahead and send us a little bit more information. I sent you back an email, brother, and it I don't think it went through. So we'd love to send you an alchemy stone because you kind of get the informal Namaste Award. For sending your girlfriend these flowers to her place of work and, biting the bullet on that one. And I know that it cost you a pretty penny. So this week's this week's Namaste Award actually goes, I'm going to own this one, you guys. My daughter's car broke down. We needed a jump. And this guy down the road, he actually followed me up the street, and there's a very long story that goes around this, but I actually know that John, you're going to get the Namaste Award because you went way above and beyond the call of duty. Not only did you help us push the car around, but you got a blood sacrifice when the hood of the car hit you, and it's I wish you would have come to my sister's birthday party. The other Namaste Awards, people, here's the deal with the Namaste Awards. I need to know the whole story. You can't just say somebody did something really awesome for me and I want to give them something. I need the story that goes behind it. The Ask the Blue Collar Goddess segments, I'm going to answer that, as I said earlier, on our Facebook page. So go to our Facebook page right now. Go to facebook.com/Radio Namaste. Give us a like. Give us a like there. Let's see if we can get, a lot of activity going on over there. But next week's guest is Gloria O'Neill Savage. She's Archancient. And she says if music is color that you can hear and textures or light you can touch, scent is a colorful texture you can smell. She does total sensory healing, vibrational aromatherapy. And Gloria combined her love of music and her desire to serve and heal humanity with this process. And she got her name when she saw two angels holding back the veil, and the name Ark of the Ancients came floating through. And it looks like she did this spiritual quest for answers to some of her physical pain. And, I got to tell you, it's really exciting when these people, Zen Master Ted, you're holding up 2 minutes. 2 minutes? We got 2 minutes? All right, I can talk for 2 minutes, okay. we all want answers to our physical pain. And we all begin looking for ways outside of ourselves. I think as we go back and we resonate and vibrate with the energy within our memories, I think that's where quantum light healing comes from. And that's where Dena Anderson and I really connected. And when we decided to develop this quantum light Reiki, we were given a lot of answers with regard to that. But as I mentioned earlier, Grandmother Alaya, she has Circle of Hearts Radio on OMTimes Radio Network. She and I connected after I got out of the hospital. And she had told me, she said, Sarah, I think that this is your heart chakra opening up. I think there were some, excellent things that were happening. And it was a brief connection. And I really appreciated her thoughts and her ideas with regard to that, because even though you feel foolish, you're going to the hospital, and it wasn't a panic attack. It wasn't, it wasn't all these other I really honestly thought that I was having a heart attack. And as we connect with these